The detection came on an ordinary Tuesday. Dr. Park was reviewing data from Earth's deep space network when unusual patterns appeared on her monitor. At first, she assumed it was a glitch, but the signal persisted regular pulses that couldn't possibly be natural. "Director Kong," she called, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "You need to see this." Within hours, governments worldwide received the same alert: humanity was not alone. The signal contained complex mathematical sequences, unmistakably artificial. Earth's greatest minds worked tirelessly to decode the message, which eventually revealed itself as a simple announcement: "We are coming." 3 months passed in a blur of preparation and speculation. Then, on a clear spring morning, the visitors arrived. Their ship appeared near Jupiter's orbit, a massive structure that dwarfed anything humans had ever built. Telescopes worldwide focused on the alien vessel as smaller craft detached and approached Earth. The first face-to-face meeting occurred at a specially constructed facility in neutral international waters. World leaders gathered alongside scientists and military personnel, all watching breathlessly as the alien delegation emerged from their landing craft. Commander Tay stood taller than the tallest human, his bluish skin catching the light as he surveyed the assembled representatives with 4 dark eyes. When he spoke, his words were translated through a device on his chest. "The Galactic Hegemony welcomes Earth to the interstellar community," he announced, his tone formal but with an undercurrent that made several military officers shift uncomfortably. "We come to assess your civilization and offer appropriate guidance." Director Kong of the International Space Agency stepped forward as Earth's designated representative. "We welcome peaceful exchange and look forward to learning about your civilization," she said carefully. The aliens established what they called an embassy in Earth orbit, a structure that military analysts quietly noted had weapons capabilities far beyond its diplomatic needs. Commander Tay and his staff began sharing selected technologies with Earth's scientists, presenting them as generous gifts while collecting extensive data on human society. During the third official meeting, Tay revealed the true nature of the hegemony, a coalition of 23 spacefaring species that governed most of the explored galaxy. Earth, he explained, would benefit from the hegemony's protection as a developing world. "Your species shows promise," he told Director Kong. "With proper supervision, humans might eventually earn limited membership in our community." What Tay didn't realize was that his dismissive attitude had not gone unnoticed. After each meeting, Earth's best minds analyzed every word and gesture. Dr. Min, a leading xenolinguist, identified concerning patterns in the aliens' language. "They use the same terminology for us that they use for resource-rich planets," she reported to the secretly formed Earth Defense Council. "Not for equal partners." Meanwhile, the technological gifts were yielding unexpected benefits. The hegemony had underestimated human ingenuity. Teams led by Dr. Park were already reverse engineering alien technology, making breakthroughs that would have taken decades through normal research. 6 months after first contact, Director Kong received classified intelligence that confirmed their worst fears. Hidden cameras had recorded Commander Tay speaking to his subordinates about Earth's exceptional mineral wealth and the simple task of pacifying the natives. The Earth Defense Council gathered in their underground facility to review the evidence. Military leaders, scientists, and government officials from every major nation sat in grim silence as they watched the translated recording. "They see us as nothing but a resource," General Cho stated flatly. "Another world to exploit." Director Kong nodded. "They expect us to be grateful for their attention while they prepare to take everything." "Then we must prepare as well," Dr. Park said, activating a holographic display showing adapting alien technology. "They think we're primitive, but they've handed us the tools we need." The Council voted unanimously for the creation of a unified Earth defense strategy, outwardly continuing peaceful relations while secretly preparing for the inevitable confrontation. As Commander Tay submitted his initial assessment to the Hegemony Council, recommending Earth be placed under protective supervision before resource extraction, he remained unaware that humans were already decoding his secure transmissions. The Hegemony had encountered thousands of developing worlds, but never one quite like Earth. The first interstellar war was about to begin, and only one side knew it was coming. 6 months into the Galactic Hegemony's presence on Earth, their true intentions became increasingly clear to those watching closely. The massive orbital station they called an embassy bristled with sensors directed at Earth's military installations rather than the peaceful cultural exchange they claimed to promote. Ambassador Lee had been chosen to represent humanity because of her exceptional diplomatic skills and keen observational abilities. After each meeting with Commander Tay and his staff, she meticulously recorded subtle details that others might miss: the dismissive flick of secondary appendages when humans spoke, the untranslated side comments between hegemony officials, and most concerning, their growing interest in Earth's mineral deposits. "They're mapping our entire planet for resources," she reported to the secret Earth Defense Council. "Their scans focus on rare earth elements and uranium deposits." General Seo nodded grimly. "The pattern matches what we found in their historical database. They've done this before." The cultural gifts provided by the hegemony had included educational materials about their civilization's history. While the aliens believed they were sharing carefully edited propaganda, Earth's best analysts had discovered hidden data within the files. The hegemony had a long history of approaching developing worlds with promises of advancement, only to eventually strip those planets of resources and reduce their populations to labor forces. Meanwhile, Dr. June led the team working around the clock to adapt alien technology. In an underground facility beneath the Antarctic ice shelf, scientists and engineers had successfully reverse-engineered the quantum communication system from the hegemony's gifts. "Their mistake was assuming we couldn't understand their technology," Dr. June explained as she demonstrated the working prototype. "They gave us just enough to figure out the rest." What the hegemony didn't realize was that humans had spent thousands of years fighting each other, developing military tactics and technological innovation at a pace unmatched by the relatively peaceful alien coalition. Earth's militaries had united under the growing threat, pooling their knowledge and resources while maintaining a facade of business as usual. 3 months later, Ambassador Lee noticed a shift in the hegemony's behavior. More ships arrived in Earth orbit, and Commander Tay began pressuring world governments to sign a protection treaty that would grant the aliens control over large territories. "The time has come to deliver our response," Lee told the Defense Council. "We must make our position clear before they move against us." The next day, she requested a formal meeting with the full hegemony delegation. Commander Tay seemed surprised by her assertive tone but agreed to the meeting aboard their station. Ambassador Lee arrived with a small delegation of Earth's representatives. As they entered the grand meeting chamber, hegemony officials from various species watched with what humans had learned to recognize as contempt. "The nations of Earth have considered your proposal for protection," Lee began, standing tall despite the uncomfortable artificial gravity. "We must respectfully decline. Earth wishes to maintain its complete sovereignty and independence." A ripple of what might have been laughter passed through the alien delegation. Commander Tay's upper appendages made a dismissive gesture that the humans now understood perfectly. "Your species barely comprehends interstellar travel," he stated, not bothering to hide his condescension. "Protection is not offered, it is mandated for primitive worlds. The treaty will be implemented regardless of your objections." Ambassador Lee's expression remained calm, but her voice carried throughout the chamber. "Then I must deliver this message from Earth: any attempt to violate our sovereignty will be met with resistance. We have no wish for conflict, but we will defend our world." The threat clearly amused Commander Tay. "With what? Your chemical rockets and nuclear weapons? The hegemony has subjugated hundreds of worlds more advanced than yours." What he didn't know was that during this very conversation, Captain Moon was leading a stealth team through the station's maintenance tunnels, placing quantum receivers that would allow Earth to monitor all hegemony communications. As Ambassador Lee and her team departed the station, they knew they had perhaps days before the hegemony would make their move. Earth's hidden defenses were ready, but barely. That night, surveillance detected hegemony battlecruisers moving into attack formation around Earth. Commander Tay had dismissed humanity's warning without a second thought. "They're positioning for a first strike," General Seo informed the Defense Council. "Targeting our satellite networks and military installations." Ambassador Lee looked at the tactical display with steady eyes. "They still think we're blind to their movements. That's our only advantage." As midnight approached, Earth's hidden defense grid powered up in silence, waiting for the attack they knew was coming at dawn. The attack began at dawn, just as Earth's defense analysts had predicted.
Hegemony ships descended through the atmosphere with supreme confidence, their energy weapons powering up to disable Earth's communication networks and military installations. From the command deck of his flagship, Commander Tay watched with satisfaction as the first wave approached their targets. "Begin the subjugation sequence," Tay ordered calmly.
"Disable their primitive defenses first, then their communication networks. The humans will be in chaos within hours." Lieutenant Han nodded with confidence. "Their technology is laughably outdated, Commander.
Our scans show nothing that could threaten even our smallest vessels." The first indication that something was wrong came when the lead hegemony ships reported unusual energy readings from major cities. Seconds later, brilliant blue shields flickered to life around military bases and population centers, shields using technology that shouldn't have been possible for humans to develop.
"Impossible!"
Han shouted, staring at the readings. "They're using modified versions of our own shield technology." Commander Tay stepped forward, his four eyes widening.
"How could they?"
Before he could finish, his tactical officer interrupted.
"Commander! Earth satellites are reconfiguring."
What the hegemony had dismissed as primitive communication satellites suddenly transformed, revealing hidden weapon systems clearly adapted from hegemony designs. The orbiting platforms opened fire, striking with devastating precision. 7 ships lost in the first attack. Han reported, panic rising in his voice. "They knew exactly where to hit our vulnerabilities." On Earth's surface, General Kim watched the battle unfold from the hidden command center beneath Seoul. The holographic display showed hegemony vessels falling from the sky as Earth's defense systems performed beyond even their most optimistic projections.
"The reverse-engineered shields are holding," reported Colonel Sunday. "Our adapted weapons are penetrating their defenses exactly as Dr. June predicted." General Kim nodded. "And the ground forces?" "Ready and waiting. The hegemony troops seem confused by our resistance.
Their tactical database has no precedent for this situation." What the aliens couldn't understand was that humans had spent millennia fighting wars against themselves. This long, brutal history had created military thinking that was adaptive, creative, and unusually comfortable with chaos, qualities the orderly hegemony had never needed to develop. As the battle entered its third hour, Commander Tay realized his first wave was nearly destroyed. Of the 40 attack ships he'd sent to secure Earth, only 12 remained operational, and those were in retreat. How could primitives do this, he demanded, slamming his appendage against a console. They've only known about interstellar travel for months. The answer came when Earth forces launched their counterattack. Fighter craft of clearly human design but incorporating hegemony technology rose from hidden bases, engaging the retreating alien vessels with tactics the hegemony computers classified as irrational but devastatingly effective. "They're not fighting according to any known doctrine," Han said, watching the unpredictable attack patterns.
"Our combat algorithms can't predict their movements."
On Earth, Ambassador Lee had been moved to the secure bunker along with other key government officials. When a communication request came through from the hegemony flagship, she stepped forward to answer.
Commander Tay's image appeared on the screen, his usual composure replaced by barely controlled rage. "This resistance is futile, human.
I am calling for our main battle fleet."
"You have merely delayed the inevitable." Ambassador Lee met his gaze steadily. "You were warned, Commander. Earth will not surrender."
"Then Earth will be reduced to ash," Tay hissed before cutting the transmission. In the command center, General Kim turned to Dr. June.
"How long before their reinforcements arrive?"
"Based on the communications we've intercepted, between 3 and 5 days, the scientist answered.
"But we've prepared something they won't expect." Kim nodded.
"Execute Phase 2 of the defense plan.
If they want to escalate this conflict, we'll show them what humans do when cornered."
As night fell over a battle-scarred but undefeated Earth, emergency sessions of the United Nations confirmed what was now inevitable: humanity's first interstellar war had begun.
But unlike the hegemony's previous conquests, Earth would not fall easily.
Far above, Commander Tay's damaged flagship limped toward deeper space to rendezvous with the approaching hegemony battle fleet.
He had underestimated these humans once.
He would not make that mistake again. Prepare a full invasion force, he ordered.
Earth will learn what it means to defy the hegemony. 3 days after repelling the initial hegemony attack, Earth launched its counterstrike.
While Commander Tay expected humans to cower behind their defenses awaiting the inevitable arrival of the main hegemony fleet, humanity had other plans.
Admiral Yoon stood on the bridge of the ESS Defiance, Earth's first true starship.
Built in secret using reverse-engineered hegemony technology, the vessel represented humanity's greatest achievement. 5 similar ships flanked the Defiance, crewed by the best pilots and soldiers Earth had to offer. "All ships report ready, Admiral," announced Captain Shin, her eyes steady on the tactical display.
"Jump calculations complete." Admiral Yoon nodded.
"Remind all commanders, we strike fast, we strike hard, and we disappear before they can respond."
"Execute jump."
The 6 Earth vessels vanished into hyperspace, using navigation data stolen from hegemony computers.
Their destination, the hegemony's primary supply depot at Proxima Station.
Meanwhile, Lieutenant June led a stealth team on an even more daring mission. Their small craft, designed to be invisible to hegemony sensors, approached a massive communications hub that coordinated all hegemony military movements in this sector of space. "They build everything for their own proportions," June whispered as her team crawled through maintenance ducts too small for the larger hegemony species. "They never expected anyone our size to infiltrate their systems."
At Proxima Station, the hegemony officers were enjoying a typical duty cycle when alarms suddenly blared.
6 unknown vessels appeared without warning, immediately opening fire with weapons that shouldn't have existed in human hands.
"Earth vessels," shouted the station commander in disbelief. "How did they get here? How are they using our own technology against us?" Admiral Yoon's strategy proved devastatingly effective.
The Earthships targeted fuel depots and supply ships while avoiding civilian areas. When hegemony defenders finally organized a response, the human vessels vanished back into hyperspace, leaving destruction in their wake. At the communication hub, Lieutenant June's team reached the central processor room.
Working quickly, they installed Dr. June's specially designed virus into the hegemony network.
Within minutes, the virus began spreading throughout the hegemony's communication systems, gathering intelligence and planting misinformation.
Back on Earth, General Kim received reports of both missions' success.
Admiral Yoon has crippled their supply lines, and Lieutenant June's team has compromised their communications.
Phase 2 is complete.
Dr. June looked up from her console with a grim smile. And the data from June's team confirms our suspicions.
3 worlds previously subjugated by the hegemony are already showing signs of rebellion after learning about Earth's resistance.
This news reached Commander Tay as his fleet prepared for the final assault on Earth. His superiors on the Hegemony Council were growing impatient with his failure to quickly subdue what should have been a primitive planet. "Humans are spreading dissent throughout our territories," his superior officer raged through a secure channel.
"End this problem immediately or face replacement."
Tay gripped the console with his appendages.
"I will crush their resistance with overwhelming force."
The main fleet arrives in 2 days. What he didn't know was that the hegemony's battle plans were being transmitted directly to Earth through the compromised communications network.
Earth's defenders knew exactly what was coming. Over the next 48 hours, Admiral Yoon's small fleet struck 5 more hegemony targets, vanishing before effective countermeasures could be deployed.
The hegemony military had never faced an enemy that refused to fight according to established protocols of warfare. On 3 formerly subjugated worlds, populations rose in rebellion, inspired by stories of Earth's defiance. The hegemony found itself fighting on multiple fronts for the first time in centuries. "The humans fight like no species we've encountered," reported the hegemony's chief strategist. "They do not value honor or follow predictable patterns. They strike where we are weakest, then disappear."
Commander Tay's rage grew with each report of human success. These primitive creatures cannot be allowed to threaten the hegemony's authority.
"Deploy the planet killer weapon." His second-in-command hesitated. "Sir, the Council has not authorized."
"I am authorizing it," Tay shouted.
"Earth must be destroyed completely to end this rebellion." Unknown to him, Lieutenant June's team had intercepted this command. As the hegemony prepared their most devastating weapon, capable of rendering a planet uninhabitable, Earth received advance warning of the coming apocalyptic attack. In the Antarctic Command Center, General Kim studied the transmitted specifications of the planet killer with growing concern.
Can we stop this weapon, Dr. June?
The scientist looked up from the data, her face grave.
Not with our current defenses.
But I have an idea. It's dangerous, but it might be our only chance. As the hegemony fleet approached Earth with their ultimate weapon, humanity prepared for its greatest test of survival.
The main hegemony battle fleet entered Earth's solar system with overwhelming force. 50 massive warships surrounded the planet killer weapon, a sphere of dark metal that absorbed all light around it.
From its command ship, Commander Tay watched with cold satisfaction as they approached Earth.
The humans will regret their defiance, he told his officers. Once we activate the planet killer, their resistance ends forever.
On Earth, civilians watched the night sky with fear as the hegemony ships became visible even to the naked eye, bright points of light growing larger by the hour.
In the Antarctic Command Center, Earth's leaders gathered for what might be their final war council. The planet killer will be in firing position in 6 hours, reported General Kim, her face grim but determined. Our regular defenses cannot stop it.
Dr. June stepped forward.
But we have one chance. The data Lieutenant June's team stole revealed a critical weakness in the weapon's design.
She displayed a holographic model of the planet killer, highlighting a specific section.
It requires a massive energy buildup before firing. During that 30-second window, its shields must reconfigure, leaving it briefly vulnerable. Admiral Yoon studied the display.
A small strike team might reach it during that window, but it would be a one-way mission.
I'll lead it, said Captain Shin without hesitation. While Earth prepared its desperate countermeasure, Ambassador Lee enacted the diplomatic component of their final strategy.
Using the compromised hegemony communication network, she broadcast evidence of Commander Tay's actions directly to the Hegemony Council. Honorable Council members, she addressed them, Commander Tay plans to use a planet killer weapon against Earth without your authorization. This violates your own laws regarding developing worlds and will trigger rebellions across your territories. The evidence, including Tay's own recorded orders, caused immediate uproar among the council. Several members demanded an immediate halt to the operation, but the fleet was already moving into attack position.
As the planet killer began its firing sequence, Commander Tay ignored incoming messages from the council.
Nothing will stop this now, he told his bridge crew.
Earth's destruction will restore fear throughout the hegemony.
What he didn't see was Captain Shin's small squad of fighters approaching from behind Saturn's rings, where they had been hiding. These specially modified craft carried Dr. June's secret weapon, a concentrated electromagnetic pulse device designed specifically to disrupt the planet killer's power core. On Earth, millions looked up at the sky as the hegemony weapon began to glow with building energy. Parents held their children close, couples embraced, and soldiers stood at their posts, ready to fight until the end. Energy buildup at 80%, reported Lieutenant Han aboard Tay's command ship.
Firing sequence in 40 seconds.
Alert, shouted another officer.
Small craft approaching the planet killer.
Tay dismissed the threat with a gesture.
Destroy them. They cannot stop us now.
Captain Shin's voice came through on all Earth communication channels as her squadron approached their target.
For Earth and all free worlds.
Her fighters broke formation, drawing enemy fire while her ship continued directly toward the planet killer. Defensive fire struck her vessel, but she maintained course even as systems failed around her. Energy buildup at 95%, reported Han. Shield reconfiguration beginning. In that crucial moment, Captain Shin's damaged fighter slipped through the temporarily weakened shields. With her last functioning systems, she launched Dr. June's device directly into the planet killer's exposed core before her ship was vaporized. The effect was immediate and catastrophic, not for Earth, but for the weapon itself. The electromagnetic pulse triggered a cascade failure throughout the planet killer's systems. Instead of firing at Earth, the massive energy buildup imploded, creating a shockwave that disabled nearby hegemony vessels.
At that same moment, 3 Hegemony Council ships emerged from hyperspace, broadcasting ceasefire orders to Tay's fleet. By order of the Hegemony Council, all hostile actions against Earth will cease immediately, announced the Council's representative. Commander Tay is relieved of duty and will face trial for unauthorized use of forbidden weapons. As the disabled Hegemony fleet drifted in space, Earth's defense forces moved into position around them. Admiral Yoon's ships returned from hyperspace, joined by vessels from the three worlds that had rebelled against Hegemony rule. 2 days later, Commander Tay was brought before Ambassador Lee in Earth's orbital station. He expected execution, but found her waiting calmly at a conference table. "Your council has agreed to recognize Earth's independence and sovereignty," she informed him. "And to grant the same to any world that desires freedom from hegemony control." Tay stared in disbelief. "You would show mercy after what I tried to do?" "Unlike you," Ambassador Lee replied, "we don't destroy those we defeat. We're offering a new path forward, as equals, not conquerors." 1 year later, a new beacon was installed at the edge of Earth's solar system. It broadcast a simple message in all galactic languages. "You are entering human territory. We seek peace but are prepared for war. Earth warned once. Earth will not warn twice."